All right, and we are back with another episode of Panther Airsoft Folding Table Talk. This is episode 58. 58, guys, August 20th. Elections are coming up, and federal elections are coming up, and this is going to be a turning point for C21. This is months of speculation has come to this. Basically, us, me and Justin, looking through ASIC, and everyone's been speculating from the very beginning. It's like, hey, this might be a thing for the elections, right? We've always had it in the back of our heads, and then it all came down to this. So, was it Thursday last week? The Prime Minister dissolved. Prime Minister came up and said that he has to dissolve Parliament because they cannot pass any bills through Parliament. This is evident with what is it, Bill 10, Bill 20, Bill C21, C20, C10. They weren't pushing through at all. There was a few bills that they were able to push through, but not the majority, like not the big ones that they wanted to push through. So the Liberals would like to gain a majority government from this, and we all know from from the what is it the field report that Mac did, we don't want that. We want to deny them the seats. We want to flip the seats. We want to make sure that the Liberals are not get a majority. So the elections are going to be, what is it, September 20th? And they're this is where we're going to this is where we're going to need the community to prevent the Liberal government from getting a majority, and this is where Task Force 170 comes into the scene. So today we have Justin. Justin has been a member of the Airsoft community. Actually, we'll just give the mic to him because he knows. Well, we'll introduce him now. So, Justin, welcome to the show. How long have you been playing Airsoft now for?
Well, first of all, boy, thanks for having me on. And been playing a long time. I'm an old man now. I think about probably 10 years at least, probably on to 15 now. It's been a really long time. Played a Panther for the majority of my time in the Lower Mainland, also at a bunch of different milsim events. Started off in paintball, actually, slowly moved over to once Airsoft became a little bit more mainstream and, more cool because you get cool gear.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, so I've been playing it for a very long time, not only just as a player, but I've organized games by myself. I've also worked with other companies like Omega Ops to help them plan their games and just continue to work with the community as a whole to try to produce, fun events and, get involved however I can. And then I kind of fell into the political side of Airsoft with this whole C21 aspect back in February.
Yep, I'm with you on that one too, with the falling into the C21 mess. I wasn't expecting that, honestly, but hey.
I mean, really, all we want to do is
I'm glad we have you.
Yeah, all we want to do is get out and sling BBs. But well, if I have to sit behind a mic or talk to a bunch of political candidates or even canvass some doors, I'm willing to do it to make sure that we can all get out there and sling BBs again.
And just for a fun question here, when was the last time you played Airsoft because of the pandemic and all this?
Well, now everyone's going to call me a chair softer because I guarantee you it's been more than a year.
I'm going to be honest, okay. I'm a chair softer too.
Hey, you've made some public appearances, and again, it's not always just about playing Airsoft. Again, it's about being part of the community, and you have been such a long-time member of the Panther community, the BC Airsoft community. It was great to obviously see friendly faces. We had a great time chatting up the last time I saw you. So again, It was really great to see you. Unfortunate circumstances that we're all here.
Very unfortunate.
But again, I really appreciate the vigor and all the energy that you've put into this yourself. And then I know a lot of other airsofters and members in the community are out there wondering what they can do. So really glad that we can kind of aim them to your direction.
Okay. So it's been a while since you last played Airsoft then. Just like
let's brush that over.
I'd say a year and a half. Let's be honest. And
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess do you two have any questionnaires for Justin here before we move on to TF 170?
No? Well, I guess I guess for me, airsoft related is like, do you play on any specific team or anything like that? Do you associate, or are you more of like a solo player when it comes to airsoft?
Great question. In spirit, I'm a team player, but because it's been a while, you know, uh, I've gone with Scott and Craig from Omega Ops down to some MSW events
Mhm.
and have an amazing time down at those because it's all team based and you walk away with, 20 new friends from your platoon that you didn't have. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a team player. I don't have an organized team or anyone that I play with. Every now and then I get out with Julian's guys out at the field. But yeah, I guess a lone wolf in practice, but a team player at heart.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, that's good.
I mean, airsoft tends to gather up all the misfits in society
There's a
and
spot for
puts
everybody.
them together and be like, work together. Here you go. And then everyone's like, at the end of the day, it's like, hell, we just had fun, right? So that's the beauty of airsoft, and this is why we love it and cherish it and we defend it,
Mhm.
right?
Definitely.
All right. Well, I guess let's move on here. We do have one question. What do you enjoy the most over the years? That's from Griffin Winter in our Discord here. What have you enjoyed most in, I guess, airsoft over the years?
Okay, this is going to sound like I think I've been in politics for a couple days, and I'm going to start sounding like a politician. But it's the people, honestly. Really, end of the day, like I have been introduced to people I would have never met in my life, of all walks of life, of all political affiliations, you name it. Like some people I would have been like, why would I hang out with this person? And then you meet them and they're just the nicest individual ever. And it brings you together. And then also, when you're working together, even fighting against each other on the field, you come together after the game, you're like, damn, that was a great shot, man. Like, awesome job, flanking me. It becomes a celebration together about the competition.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for that. All right,
Yeah.
let's move on here. So Task Force 170. To tell you a little bit of a story of what happened, because I check up on BC Airsoft, Airsoft Canada, because I see 21, I check it constantly. And when that name came up, and I'm like, oh, look, it's another Milsim group. It's probably from back east. I'm going to ignore it. That was basically my reaction right away. I ignored it for a day. And then in the back of my head, I'm like, 170 sounds familiar. And then weeks ago, when someone linked me uh, 388 Canada, which is basically the amount of ridings we have in Canada, 388 ridings in Canada, and it mentioned something along the lines of, yeah, you need 170 seats to get a majority. And then throughout the day, that was burning in the back of my head, and then it clicked. I'm like, wait a second, this has something to do with the elections. And then I went back, I saw Justin in there, I'm like, oh, I gotta like this. And then that's when I found it. So tell me, did you come up with the name 170, or how did this formulate for you?
I mean, honestly, it was a bunch of people. It's kind of an amorphous group that has existed, ASIC, BC people, like just all over Canada that knew that this was going to eventually be a reality. We knew that C20, we were focusing on the fight against C21, but we knew that there was whispers since March that there was going to be an election. And we knew that if this was going to happen, we need to mobilize the entire community and get them going. So yeah, then you're right on with the name. The idea is to deny the Liberals 170 seats because end of the day, whether you want to call it strategic voting or vote splitting or whatever you want to call it, if we deny them those seats, we at least give us a fighting chance if C21 comes back on the block.
Okay.
Exactly.
So you were saying before, was this planned before the election was called? I'm guessing yes from your answer there.
I mean, it was kind of like an idea that was floated, but it was never really something that was, planned way beforehand. It just kind of like popped up. We got the notification from some people in the know, like, hey, there's going to be an election called on Sunday. Let's organize, and we did.
And how many people are running the administrative side of things from the back end here?
About half a dozen right now. But I mean, right now, it's really impressive. We have a total of 30 ridings with at least one person volunteering right now across Canada. And up to, I think, 5 people in a riding. So I don't have exact numbers on people, but we have a lot of people that are getting involved. And right now, our Discord has like 80, 90 people in it right now.
Oh yes, and I will link the Discord in our Discord here as well shortly. But yeah, no, I was impressed at the speed at this formulated, and as well as like again, it took me by surprise. I'm like, ooh, 170. What's in the back? Oh right, right.
It's almost like it was a bad idea to piss off a bunch of war nerds.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Let's dive into that because it wasn't well received from when you guys opened up in what is it, Airsoft Canada, BC Airsoft, or
Yeah.
just your comment section in general. I literally like on that Friday I just popped up the seat, picked up the popcorn, and then just read through the comments, and I'm like, wow.
It was a ride.
You know, like,
It
so
was a ride.
like I respect everyone who posted in that the whole post. I understand the feelings behind politics. I understand that when you see a logo of a party that you think represents certain things, you're going to react viscerally. And a lot of people have really strong feelings about politics. I'm much more of a quote unquote fluid person politically. I try to follow what my candidates are doing, what they're trying to push in terms of policies, and also I try to think strategically about how my vote is going to affect Canada, and that's kind of why I'm with Task Force 170, why I'm pushing this forward, and why I met Jagmeet Singh the other day and was delivering signs all day the other day because end of the day, we need to get more. I think I've always thought that the Canadians need to get more involved in their political system and understand more that you're not voting for a prime minister. This isn't the United States of America. You're voting for your candidate that's going to represent you in the parliament. And then, of course, the prime minister forms party if he gets enough seats. So it's a mixture of different issues, and I hope that everyone took a look at that and saw that I'm not just looking for the NDP to gain seats from this, because this isn't Task Force 170 doesn't care which party you are. We just care that the Liberals do not get a majority. Because even if you're
that's it, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the
Even if
entire
you're-
goal of
yeah.
of the group is just deny the seats because ultimately that's all we want. Like that's the
Exactly.
minimum that what we want, and then afterwards we can work on things like regulation
Well,
and amendments and all of this because like it's like C21 is just a stepping stone, right? Now we're in the
Yeah.
now Airsoft is in the spotlight,
exactly.
and we're out there visible, and with BC introducing Bill 4 as well, and making sure that Airsoft keeps its legality.
Yeah.
The rest of Canada should do the same thing. I always said the same thing. BC was BC legalized recreational marijuana first, and then it cascaded throughout the rest of the provinces throughout Canada.
Yep.
So we're literally setting the standards and then just pushing it through. But this is different. We're talking about denying, like, your group's goal is to deny the Liberals the seats, and that's ultimately the goal. Is that correct?
Yes. And
Okay.
so there are some ridings that it is just not likely for a conservative candidate to win. And my riding, Burnaby North Seymour, is one of those ridings. We lost an NDP seat here by 1,000 votes, literally last 2 years ago. And we're trying to get the NDP in here. And we also have people volunteering. The majority of the ridings that we're volunteering in, they are volunteering for conservative candidates, and they are working hard to get them elected so that they can also work hard against C21. Also, I'd just like to, going back to that original Facebook post, a lot of people were saying that if you vote for the NDP, you're voting for the Liberals. They're going to go along with what they say, and that's just the way it is. While I do agree with them to a certain extent that the NDP do work with the Liberals on a lot of different legislation, and that's how they've been able to pass stuff during the last 2 years, There is also the reality that Jack Harris, who sat on the committee that was going to hear C21, talked to ASIC and the political representative for them and guaranteed us that they would not be allowing the liberals to remove airsoft, because I understand there's an overlap between the firearms community and airsoft. And I too am a firearms owner, and I view them as completely separate issues, only because C21, if it passes, yes, it will affect firearms owners. It will change that. And I have views on that. But if C21 passes in its current form, which it will, if a majority of liberal government passes, you will see the death of airsoft. It will stop all sales, all imports outright. You'll be able to keep your airsoft guns, but there's even parts in it that allow police to show up at a field and basically say, hey, can you show me the documentation why you should have that airsoft gun? It's like, well, no, because you guys banned it and didn't provide us any documentation saying that I could keep this. Oh, well, we're going to have to confiscate that because we don't know.
Exactly. There you go. Mass roundup.
I mean, that's speculation at best. I mean, I'm just reading from legislation, but worst case scenario, we want to ensure that doesn't happen. We at least want consultation.
Okay. So with that in mind, with Task Force 170, your goal is basically to gather as much volunteers. So what do you require from the community? From what I'm reading is you need volunteers and volunteers on different locations, ridings. What are you specifically looking for in terms of volunteers? Because I think that's the main question that people want to know is how do I help and how do I volunteer, and if I'm at this location, what happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing you need to do is figure out which riding you're in. Then the site that you're talking about, 338 Canada, it's a great little resource.
Yep.
Look it up, see what the last election was, the results there. You'll probably know if you have a conservative or a liberal or an NDP candidate there, but you'll understand how close it was. And once you start looking at the numbers, it becomes a little bit more sobering how much like a few people can change stuff. So yeah, once they've done that, find out whether it's, is it a conservative safe riding? Is it a flip up? Like if they toss a coin, one party or another may win. Then find out the party that is most likely to win other than the liberals. Even if it's a liberal safe riding, and volunteer for the conservatives or the NDP if they're the party
of choice.
Party of choice. I completely understand if people don't want to volunteer for a party. If they don't support the NDP, don't volunteer for them. There are a bunch of ridings in the greater Vancouver area that are like liberal conservative toss-ups. And I just want people to get out there and start helping their candidates so that we can work towards denying this liberal majority.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And for the volunteers that you have in your community already, some of them, I saw Richmond and Stevenson there. Our good friend Ryan Johnson is volunteered himself. What is he do? Is he working with the candidate to win the seat or hold the seat? Is that what his main goal is? And as well as liaison with TF 170 and the candidate, correct?
Yeah, so I mean, we are going out there as airsofters dressed in, plate carriers and whatnot, saying, "Hey, save airsoft." I mean, we tell our personal stories to like campaign volunteers and the candidates themselves, but we're out there getting trained just like any other volunteer would be. Whether you're gun advocate going to help the conservatives or an anti-pipeline advocate going to help the NDP, you go in, you get trained how to canvass properly, how to talk to people, how to talk to them about your candidate, and how to get data and deliver signs. And really, candidates don't have a lot of money. I mean, they may in personal life, but they can't, contribute their personal money towards it. They get a very limited budget, and ridings have been won and lost by volunteers because they can have unlimited resources in terms of volunteers. So if 100 people show up in Burnaby North tomorrow and start canvassing, that's great. Or, Richmond, Steveston area.
So for folks who don't know what canvassing means, what does canvassing mean?
Right. So canvassing is when the individuals go door to door or go to certain public areas and start talking to people about their support for parties, try to get them aware of the issues that their particular candidate supports. the general party platform, talking about that, and really kind of getting a gauge for support for their party. I mean, sometimes it turns into convincing people to vote a certain way. Sometimes it turns into an argument and people telling you you're a horrible human being. But at the end of the day, it's really about just getting that temperature and trying to let people know what your candidate is about.
Okay. And okay, so that pretty much covers what a volunteer does. Let's go over some facts for the federal election. So you're talking about 388. That's the number of electoral ridings in Canada. The neat part is, I'm just gonna showcase the website here for folks in the video. Is this is 388canada.com is a website that you go to. Again, links down in the description below. That is a site where you can check out who your local candidates are. And I believe this also does predictions or like checks every now and then until the election date. And it shows who's in the lead, who's not in the lead, and for your area especially. Yeah, check them out, guys. Again, that's 338 ridings in Canada, and one of those ridings is in your local area. Another part to that is right here. So 170 is the number of seats required for a majority party in Parliament. This is where you get the strategy of the minority linking up with the other minority to then gain a majority on certain votes. So 170 is a majority, means that like, let's say, the Liberals get into power with 171, then we're doomed, right? That's pretty much it. Or 170 basically. We're pretty much
170,
doomed.
yeah.
We're pretty much doomed because the opposition party cannot vote that out. There's no way they can vote that out.
Yep.
So you're talking about the ridings are winning by 1,000 votes or 100 votes or less. If you go to Elections Canada, you'll find some of your local areas, your local ridings will have a number of votes. So, for example, in Coquitlam, Ron McKinnon is the Liberal candidate, not candidate. He's basically the MP for Coquitlam, Port Coquitlam. He actually never reached out to me. I reached out to him multiple times via email. He never reached out to me. I tried calling him. No one would respond to me back, even with a show like this. Or, I mean, we're not that big, guys.
It took me 8 phone calls and 4 emails to my Liberal MP.
I've
to
called
talk about Airsoft.
When
Oh, wow.
when C21 came out, I did not get anything. I called every week for like a good 2 months and nothing.
Yeah.
But like I said, some ridings are winning by 1,000 votes or even less than 100 votes. And if you look at Elections Canada and look at the statistics on your riding, it is insane that they're winning by that much. And it's like a close race. You just don't realize it. Just look at the stats at Elections Canada. Look at 2019 was our last election. October 2019 was the last elections, and that will show you what they're winning by. And on top of that, you should also check out number of people that voted versus number of people that actually are registered voters. And you'd be surprised because in my riding, I had 58,000 votes. And in that 58,000, there is 109,000 registered voters. So you could see there that less than half, like 40% didn't show up to vote. So imagine if you could convince 20 people, and those 20 people convince those other 20 people to vote,
Exactly.
right? That you have already like a lot of votes right there. What was it like? And it just keeps growing. Then you're gonna get to 1,000. So if you want to do your part in volunteering, go out there, like what Justin said, is canvas. Let people know that there's an election coming up. Let them know what it means to you and what your candidate of your choice or party of your choice is going to do. Give them the key facts. You could go out there to the NDP or the Conservative Party's websites, and they'll have updates on what they're promising and such. So yeah, some ridings are just won by less than 100, which is insane.
Yeah.
those are close races, right? And
And
go ahead, go ahead.
yeah, I was just gonna say that a lot of people talk about politics as this like huge thing that you can't get involved in, but all politics really are is just relationships between people. And I
100%.
know that, like, obviously, all politicians are liars, all this kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
the reality is if you can volunteer, if you go and volunteer at your local candidate's office and you go out and you can find what other people are passionate about and let them know how that party is going to represent them, then you can change votes. That's really how it goes.
That's
That's how
our
you
goal, is
change
to
the
flip
course
that
of a
seat.
country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so another fact here is each party has a funding. I actually pulled this up from Elections Canada. Each party has a funding of 76,000 to I think a maximum of 115,000 per candidate on the riding, and it
Mhm.
depends on the voter population size as well. So it'll be bigger, like somewhere in downtown Toronto or like downtown Vancouver, or or Surrey even. So you can see why volunteers are important, because you're only getting that much money, and this is
Yep.
the party spending their money, right? These are donations from people, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're a millionaire, you're not allowed to. If you're a candidate yourself, you're not allowed to spend your own money, right? So
Nope.
it has to come from the party, and then that is where your funding comes from. So that goes to like cost of like printing banners, printing
Mhm.
shirts, printing posters, putting ad signs up in billboards and such. And there's absolutely no funding for manpower at that point, right? If you're paying people like, what is it, like $500 per week or something, you're gonna run out of cash right away, right? So this is why
Fast. Yeah.
volunteers are important, right? 100 volunteers for a candidate goes a long way, right?
Well, I'll tell you from my own personal experience, like my the office I'm working in right now to help out with the candidate up here, it has maybe 2 or 3 staff and they're working 9 to 9 every day. So it's long hours for these people that are paid, but they're not getting paid a lot of money. And really, it's the volunteers, and it's all up to the volunteers that make the difference in this campaign.
Okay. So with that, if you're good at certain things like marketing or online marketing or anything like that, I think those are valuable assets for a volunteer. If you're good at public speaking, yeah, go out there. Or I don't know, it's just go out there, ask if you have a favorite, or if you already have a preferred party to work with, right?
Mhm.
We don't care who you're voting for. Just go out there and volunteer, right?
Yep.
And
Also,
that's
people who are in the trades, they need their walls painted in their
there
campaign
you go.
offices. They need signs put up with lumber for
People with
large signs
trucks.
on exactly
Yeah,
people with trucks. Those are resources that are needed out there for all the candidates.
yeah,
Not the liberals, though. Stay at home if you're a
yeah.
liberal.
I mean,
Okay, I think we got to get it out of the bag here just right off the bat, because I know we're going to be like just bashing them. So some people are still going to be that political affiliation, and that's totally fine, because that's
Yep.
the way politics work. Some people are not single issue voters, where I understand that your sport and or hobby and your lifestyle might be under attack, but you're not going to change your political views for that, because there have been many people who have voiced their opinion like that. That's totally fine. That being said, if you can get the ear of your constituent leader and such that is happening to be a liberal, and you can persuade them against this sort of C-21 bill and everything like
Yep.
that, power to you. I would love, because I know there are some friends of mine who have liberal MPs and they live in that riding, and they have reached out to them nonstop to the point where it's honestly become like a beratement of because I get it, their lifestyle is under attack, and
Yep.
if they can convince them that maybe that their party's idea is not that great, that's one step forward as well. So again, so just those are the people that are that way, and that's totally fine, because
Agreed.
yeah, I agree. Yeah, and also be reasonable with people. Don't go in there and just start a political fight or whatever. I mean, there's a lot of flame wars out there in the comments already, so
happening.
let's just
Mhm.
Yeah.
let that out of the way. But yeah, be reasonable with people, because we live in a country where you're free to vote. You're free to not vote. I mean, it's ultimately up to you.
Yep.
It's the people who decide where this country goes. And right now,
Yep.
for us personally, it's airsoft right now is being under attack. So for us, we're fighting it because of the fact that we're passionate about the sport.
And let me just do a really quick aside here, really quick, is that Canadians in general, I think we need to get more involved in politics. We all get angry about something. We're angry about airsoft because it's on the chopping block. But people who are listening to this or watching this right now are going to be angry about childcare. They're going to be angry about housing or firearms rights or any type of these issues. Get involved. Like literally get involved. Go and volunteer. Go and talk to your candidate.
Yeah.
Even if you're liberal.
Okay, so let's jump into another one here. The biggest question I get all the time, especially when I'm out the field, is who should I vote for? I mean, I think that's a big question. That's a big question.
It's loaded.
That's a loaded question.
Yeah.
And I think we all agree here that we're not going to tell people who they should vote for because that's
liberals.
Yep, there you go.
There's a clear political bias here. But
sorry. I'll let you guys talk.
But remember, we still have like 4 other parties or 5 other parties we could choose from. So ultimately, it's up to you. If you feel that you should vote for Greens, go vote for Greens. If you're gonna vote for Conservatives, go vote for Conservative. Or NDP, go vote for them. But we're not gonna tell you how to vote for them. We're gonna give you all the information here. But ultimately, you're going to have to decide on who to vote for. I think the biggest one is research. Research who you're voting for. Because they have key promises that they have in there, right? Economic recovery, vaccine, all of the, like you were talking about, Justin Trudeau was just here in Coquitlam introducing the $10 daycare if that's something you want to do. I mean, I have my own opinions on it because of the fact that it's like a loaded question that they like that loaded promise that they sent out there, but I don't want to dive into that because I'm going to argue.
Yeah, we're not doing it. We're not here to
argue.
Unpack their bullshit.
Or him hanging out in Langley as a bartender, promising to fix. Yeah. Exactly. So there's a lot of promises.
Back it up.
There's a lot of promises happening and everything like
that.
So
it's ultimately up to you, the viewer, the listener, to make your own decision, right? I mean, you're out there, they're feeding you all this information. It's up to you to filter it. It's up to you to make your decision for it. You're the taxpayer that is here. How do you want them to spend your money, right? So there you go. So research your party. We provide a lot of info here. But yeah, that's it. And all we're asking for is just be strategic, right? And that's what Task Force 170's goal is, to be strategic, be out there and make sure that your vote actually counts, right? Make sure we're flipping those seats.
Well, it's not even just that your singular vote counts, because like you said, we don't want people to change their vote. If you want to vote liberal in this election, you should.
100%.
We're not trying to change people's political affiliation, but we are saying that if you can spare your time in a riding where maybe you're a liberal and you maybe align more with the NDP, and you can flip a liberal riding to NDP with a couple thousand votes, maybe go volunteer there. But if you're a conservative and you live in a strong liberal stronghold, go volunteer in a toss-up riding that's near you and volunteer with that candidate. They need your help.
Okay. I think what was the other strategy here is you could also wait until almost close to the closing days of the polls to vote as well, to see, like, if you're undecided on who to vote for, you could just wait, see who's popular in your riding, and then cast your vote, so that you're sealing the fate of that seat, basically, if it's close to winning, right? Unless it's liberals winning, then just yell at the TV. All right, so here's a big one. What can the airsoft community do? So when C21 came out, a lot of people wanted to help. Now's the time. We've all already been saying it. We're going to repeat it again. Yeah, go out there, volunteer for your local candidate. Heck, I'm going to give you guys the link here down in the description below. If you look at this link, which is basically the federal candidates as well, if you don't like to look at the 338 site, you could also look at Wikipedia and look at all the local ridings here, and you could just click on BC, and you will see all who is being elected and candidates as well.
Yep. It'll give you the
Cope-
results of the last two
yeah.
elections, I believe.
Yep, it gives you the results as well. And then you could also click on your local electoral district, and you'll see, you know, how close how close they were from winning and stuff. So this is what I was talking about, like votes. Sorry, I didn't give you guys links, but here you go. I just sent it to the chat. Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
but yeah, 2019. There you go. Like my area was only 400 votes away from being conservative, but it went to
Yep.
Ron McKinnon and it went liberal, and even though the conservatives spent more money, so
Yep.
there you go. So if you like looking at those stats, yeah, look at it, right? Control F, search, right? I'll provide those links below, guys. Yeah, go out there, do what we're doing, informing you. You inform others. You pass the information on. Just keep going. Then they will pass that information on as well. Any words from you guys about what can Airsoft community do? Because we've been nonstop, like, trying to make sure that everybody goes out there is informed.
So one thing I want to because I know, okay, one of the main things is that obviously our viewership varies very much when it comes to age range, and as well as our hobby and our lifestyle and just our community and such, you know. So for the younger people that are out there that are feeling kind of helpless and such like that, you know, dialogue is such a great thing, you know. Talking with your parents, understanding where maybe they sit, that'll help understand and formulate your ideals for future reference. And you know, just being able to kind of understand and discuss what's going on. And like Justin said, it's really good to get active early. So you know, if you help and pay attention and understand what's going on in your area, it can greater affect your decision making and such. So that's a really good thing too for the younger generation out there. Again, is just, you know, start that talk. And if you guys don't have people to talk to, again, this is a great place where you guys can always talk to us. You know, we're here to support and, you know, help educate people. Like, we're never ever going to tell you guys what you should do, because that's what Airsoft's all about, doing what you want. But we are going to provide you guys the tools to make the best decision possible. And that's, again, really big thanks to Task Force 170 and Justin for coming on here and, you know, helping give this out to the community and such. So thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and really great point about young people. You can get out there and volunteer too.
100%. Yeah.
You know, maybe tell your parents, hey, like I'd like to go volunteer for my conservative or NDP or green candidate, and you know, you get to learn more about politics that way too, how it works on the street.
Exactly. And like my big thing too is just to, you know, reiterate the fact that you know, to help influence everything, because you know, there's that statistic that says that, you know everyone from around the world within just 7 people and whatnot. And so if you just talk about things, just like how you can see from the field report that Mac had done earlier in the week, about how a lot of people are caught by this by surprise. So, you know, just talking about it, you know, bringing, you know, attention to it so that people can make up their mind. I know we don't have a lot of time on this specific issue, so it can be a lot of like people will feel a lot of pressure from it. But if we, you know, like you're saying, right, you know, not necessarily like telling people who to vote for, but if you can help influence, because like the big thing about all of this is that people just end up choosing one party over another because of certain views. But like I feel like this is not something that's like a single party kind of issue. This is, you know, everything, because when you look at it, airsofters come from all walks of, you know, the planet and stuff like that, and everyone has different kinds of hobbies and attitudes, and you know, we have a lot of similarities and whatnot, and we're able to come together and, you know, play this kind of, you know, fun game together on the weekend. But we're all different. And so like you guys had said earlier too, they really hit the hornet's nest here by trying to attack us, because they're not just attacking one group of people, or, you know, with whatever mindset that they were going in with. So you know, going back to what I was saying at the beginning, you know, just talk to people, you know, influence people, because that's, you know, probably the most important thing when it comes to anything like it, you know, you guys were saying earlier, just with dialogue and everything.
Yeah, and I guess another point too, and to those feeling helpless, like you're not going to be able to change the way that this election goes, you're not going to be able to change anyone. The reality is, we we have the ability to change things. We have the ability to convince a few people to change their vote, and they may change a few people, and then that may change that 500 or 1,000 people who flip it from a liberal party to a conservative riding or liberal to NDP. And all of a sudden, we have a fighting chance. And then also, when the liberal government, if they get a minority government, then they know that the airsoft community gave them a bloody nose, because they will have a list of all the ridings that we helped flip, and they'll know that our community is motivated and willing to fight for our hobby and for our community.
Mhm. Exactly.
So basically, painted a target on our back then.
It-
So guys, you got to run forward towards this issue.
Yeah.
so, so another thing a community can do is join up with Task Force 170, guys. I can't say enough. You guys are doing a lot of hard work out there. They're always looking for volunteers for certain. What are big areas that are you looking for volunteers for right now?
I mean, really anything at this point in time. We need people to get out there and volunteer with their candidates. So Task Force 170 as an entity, our main thing is just push people to get involved. That's all we're here to do. We're going to organize you. We'll move you to ridings that might be near your area. So if you need help, if you're like, I don't want to do the research, I just want to go and put up signs. Cool. Join the Task Force 170 Discord. It's just taskforce170.ca. And if you enter that link, that's the Discord invite. It'll send you right to the Discord, and then say, hey guys, I need help. This is where I live. This is where I want to help. And we'll point you in the right direction and get you aligned with that candidate for that riding.
Okay. And for content creators out there, go out there, and I know you guys have your followers, your viewers. Convince them not to vote liberal. That's basically it. Other than that, make sure you tell people to go out there. There's an election coming up. What does this mean for you as a content creator? For us here at the Panther Airsoft Folding Table Talk, this is our main focus, basically airsoft. So it means a lot to us, and that's why we're doing these podcasts here. But what we're going to be doing out in the field is we're going to be doing temperature checks out at the field as well, with further interviews as well, just to make sure that everybody knows that there's an election coming up, and everybody knows what their key ridings are, or what their candidates are in their ridings, and they can come talk to us, because we'll do anything to help people be aware. Share this video, and as well share a previous video about the election. Did you know that there is an election coming up? And we're basically going to be the CNN of airsoft. We'll have a little taker at the bottom. But no, that's too much work. But we'll keep you guys up to date until the elections is over, because at the end, our goal is, again, to flip the seats away from the liberals, make sure they don't get that 170 mark. And I understand that it's not gonna be great to have another minority government, but hey, at least it proves a point that we are a driving force in this election.
We have to remind people, even if we don't get the outcome that we absolutely want, if they get a minority government, they again have to put forth everything through the House of Commons. They have to, they have to show their work pretty much, right? They got to show the receipts, and politicians get really annoyed with that, because when everyone can start seeing the receipts, people start adding things up, and when things start adding up, we start asking questions. So, even if minority government isn't the ideal situation, if that does turn into that situation, at least we can kind of stop them, sort of like how we were trying to do it, this last year.
Okay. I'll leave it up to you, Justin, for any last words for Task Force 170 or yourself.
All right. Well, first of all, if you live in any of the following districts. So you can look this up when you watch this video or you're listening. South Surrey, White Rock area, Steveston, Richmond East, Port Moody, Coquitlam, Pitt Meadows, Maple Ridge, Mission, Matsqui, Fraser Canyon, or Kelowna, Lake County, or Burnaby, North Seymour. If you live in any of those regions, join the Task Force 170 Discord. And also, even if you don't, join the Task Force 170 Discord, and we'll get you sorted with a candidate that needs your help, whether it's canvassing or painting walls, putting up signs, driving people around. Even if it's only 1 hour a week, that is 1 hour a week of volunteering that they did not have before. I understand we're all busy. We're all a little pissed off that there's an election in the middle of a pandemic, which, by the way, the Liberals voted against in Parliament, saying that they would never call an election during the Parliament. Anyways,
more key points, by the way.
yes, another key point, another talking point. Glad I'm on right off the list. Anyways, yeah, so get involved. I mean, just in general, let's hold our politicians accountable, all of them.
Yeah.
Conservative, liberal, NDP, because they represent us, and let's help get people in that are going to hopefully get us at worst a liberal minority government that they're forced to work with the other parties. They're forced to listen to everyone.
Like a slap in a wrist, be like, hey, pay attention.
hey,
and to all the people thinking I'm trying to change your vote to NDP, no, I want you to vote how you vote, and I support you. I support your views. You know, I love you. You're Canadians. But and also, if you're an airsofter, I love you. You're part of the community. Like, let's work together. Whether you're NDP or liberal or conservative, we can make this. We can make the change right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And is it 35 days from this podcast release until September 20th? So
less.
Oh, less.
So it was 36 days as of the 15th when it was called.
Yep.
So that is -5. So 31 days.
31 days. So we literally have a month.
Yikes.
A month.
Literally a month.
A month, guys. So we will be all right. So we'll end this off. We're us here. We're going to be keeping in touch with Task Force 170, seeing what's up. And then I am going to, on our Panther Airsoft News Network segments, we're going to be keeping you guys in the loop on what's happening with this election cycle. And, yeah, hopefully the outcome is good. Again, we post once a week here for our news segment. So check us out for that time. Yeah, we're gonna be making sure that if you guys need help, Task Force 170 needs help, come to me, and then I will announce it on the news segments as well. Again, links are gonna be in the description below, guys, for all the important stuff. Task Force 170 .ca and .com for the other one, I believe. Yep.
Yeah, that'll take you to the Facebook group for the .com.
Yep, there you go. So .ca and .com. That's there. All right. Well, looks like Mac is still in the washroom there, but we'll leave him there. That's okay. He probably went out there and told a bunch of people to go vote, but
Go vote from his phone.
Or the liberals threw them into their campaign van.
Oh no. But
joking, it's a joke.
thank you very much, Justin, for coming out here and explaining what Task Force 170 is all about, because yeah, those comment sections were pretty mean, but I hope you're okay, because I certainly had fun reading through it.
Yeah, it was very entertaining.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was fun. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't take it personally. It's
No,
okay.
I knew right away that there was going to be a misconception with it. But, I mean, you guys are out there offering your help to volunteers that are out there that don't know what to do, and you're offering guidance on, how to volunteer for this election. Because guidance is what everybody needs here, and a little bit of volunteer work is going to help save Airsoft. I mean, it's that easy. It's that easy.
It is.
C21 came out. You guys looking for what to do? Here it is. Here it is. So do your part, guys. If you love Airsoft, go out there and volunteer with your time. All right.
Just like Starship Trooper said, I'm doing my part. Are you?
You're gonna have to do a campaign like that in your.
Yeah, exactly.
Please do it.
That'll be one of your
It has
campaign
to be a
posters.
meme.
We'll
All
see.
right.
And with that, guys, we'll catch you on the next Panther Airsoft Folding Table Talk.
All right. Thank you, Justin, and
Thanks, guys.
see you guys later. Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Bye.